Hi everyone. Hi there. I figured out I would come here back from the dead because there was some Q&A session where the devs answered some player questions, and well, I figured out I could come back here. First of all, go through the questions that were answered last year in May. And well, the ones that were answered in this session, I don't even know when it was, honestly, but there's these summaries here in the forum, so that's cool. I will just be commenting on that, I think, just going through all, also showing you what they talked about, and we'll be commenting on it. We'll see if there's anything interesting, basically. I will quickly start by going through these. There are not many of these here, as there are in the one if the one from this year, it seems. I don't know, or at least the one from this year is a bit more organized. So let's see. Would it be possible to reduce time of resource transports, whatever they mentioned the merchant bonus? There are a ton of these. I don't know why they let these questions go through, and I think there are questions like these as well in this year. I mean, I would assume they have better questions to talk about, or at least, I mean, there are surely questions that are better and they could go more in depth in, instead of answering things like these. This is what the community managers are supposed to answer. But anyway, merging servers, okay, this is a fair question. Nothing special from last year. Better attack planner. There's no plan to improve the attack planner. Okay, I wonder if this changed. I wonder if they're actually looking into it. But the reality is, I mean, what have they really added into the game since this May 23 Q&A? Let's see. Actually, I'm interested. Updates. They always make a new. They always make a new thing now. New post. Okay, whatever. Let's quickly go through these. I'm actually. Let's see. This was May 23. May 18. Fixed some bugs. Okay, fair enough. I mean, that's cool. Also fixed some bugs. Search militia. Okay, cool. Improvements on troop counter. You can see all troops from every member. Okay. Mounted archer. Okay, sure. Those are like fine changes. But this is like May to June, and all we've had is like few improvements and bug fixes and stuff. Nothing special. Here there's basically nothing. Okay. Self-conquers will not be shown. Okay, this is fair. Okay. I'm not even going through these or saying much because there's not much of a point. Because there is nothing big, nothing major. It's literally just bug fixes. Defenses in a rally point are now sortable. This is a community wish. I don't exactly know what sortable means here, but you will receive a report as soon as the flag progression has been deactivated on the world. Okay, sure. These are all like very small things, and it's been a year of this. I can assume. Able to see your own achievements when you visit your own profile. Okay, cool. I mean, you could already see that before, not in that place, but improvements. Automatic farm upgrade will not be saved. Okay. When exporting a manager template, that's cool. Noble planner. When sharing the planner with multiple eyes. There's slight improvement to your trip observation as soon as a dark log. Okay. Sure. Okay. I mean, fair enough. But still, that's not that big of a thing. Coming attacks also display a timer until they're revealed by a watchtower. That's cool. That's actually cool. That's actually cool. For watchtower worlds, yeah. Definitely. But still, these are things that should already have been implemented. I mean, I'm glad they're adding it, but you see, we've started in May, right? We're in September. Basically, no major change has happened, and then obviously we'll go through the whole Q&A and see what they were saying they were working in. Okay, Because I think this makes sense to give context on all of this, and I think some questions probably mention updates or whatever. And well, we're going through it, and we're seeing that not much has been done. What happened here? It scrolled me up. Is that it? No, it went to the other page. Whatever. Filter of marketplace offers. Okay, sure. More bug fixes. Cool. I mean, bug fixes are nice, obviously. Translation issues. Okay. Benefits could not be replaced. There are so many of these that I just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They really could add some images or something. Because what do you mean benefits could not be replaced? I don't get it. Fix the rare account manager issue. Cool. That's cool. I mean, I'm glad, I guess. Here they fixed some more stuff. Which is great. Can now select between a normal and the Steam background image. That's awesome. That improves my life a lot. Can now recall troops by troop type. This completely fucked the rally point, because before you could just select and it would select all automatically, and now you have to like select each unit separately. I think it was with this update that got fucked, and that's still not fixed until now, I think. So they mess up these little small things, and they don't play the game, so they don't see that little changes that they may make influence other things. But anyway, I think you probably get the idea. They also started doing these community polls for it to seem like they listen to what players say, but in reality it's, I mean, you can now effortlessly add villages to manual groups using coordinate imports. Cool. I mean, obviously people will vote for this, because why not? But this is not like a game-changing thing. Merging flags just got easier. You can now combine all flags of the same level and type in one go. Cool. I mean, that should be a thing for years now. There's people with a ton of flags. Filter point values were added to the troop drop-down table in the... Okay, sure. That seems cool. Enabled the ability to attach tables to emails. Okay, that's... But yeah, you see these community polls. Okay, cool, sure. But this doesn't... I mean, doesn't really revolutionize the game much. It doesn't do much at all. Now these were good. These were good. A join button on the speed presentation page and yes access. That's cool. That is a very, very minor thing, but obviously I play speed, so I'm biased. But little things like those really, really help the game a lot. But even other things, I feel like that they were not that impactful in general. Anything special here? Bug fixes. Just bug fix. Basically, the main thing that I get from this is that there really isn't much new being done. So I really wonder if they said anything that would point toward more things being added. Another nobleman unit is now available in the mass support screen. Cool. I mean, this should always have been a thing as well. And this is an update with just that. I mean, I don't know. I obviously don't know how hard these things are to do, right? But the reality is that these updates are quite underwhelming. But I mean, cool. Definitely little things being improved over time. That's great to see. That's the thing. A lot of things on this one. Turned off the warning. Okay. But it's nothing special. Yeah, nothing special. Okay, whatever. We get the idea. It's been almost 10 minutes of reviewing updates. We get a better attack planner. It is really sad that here they say that they've been looking into it or something. It's really sad that they can't just implement a Devilicious into the game, or that they don't want to. I don't know. Like, you have this tool, external tool to the game, and it literally just allows you to do everything you want, and then it even exports in the correct BB code, so you can put the result of it in the notes, and you can just click the attack button and it will already like redirect you towards the attack screen, so you can just click enter basically. It's such a good tool, and I really don't see what stops them from adding stuff like this into the game. I really don't. Like it is major updates like this that I would be looking forward to, but then again, it is just hard to manage, right? Because if you have things like these, in theory, it should make attacking way easier, and you also should help defenders in some way, right? But I feel like defenders just kind of have it be easier because in general, I mean, they can just snipe the noble trains, and not do more than that. So I guess it's fair, but there should definitely be better attacking tools. And well, since a year ago or 10 months, whatever year is, 10, 11, I don't know. Yeah, nothing was done when it comes to that. Do the devs also play on worlds up to the end game or only the test server? That's a good question. The team are allowed and encouraged to play on live servers. We often start together as a team or with other Reno colleagues on new worlds, but it is very hard to keep up with veteran players. I mean, I wonder why, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Most of the people on the actual team have no clue on how the game works. I mean, we easily saw this in the Verksliga round that was played on the D server. I don't know. Maybe you've watched me play that round. It's a video on my server. You can check it out. They advertised it as like some competitive speed thing. In reality, it was an N0 round with like 2 orbs every like 10 players, and with no account manager, no farm assistant. It was a 2-hour N0 where you had tribes of like 10 members and you could send troops and resources to people inside and outside tribe. You could just push people infinitely. And they in the end decided to punish the people that abused that. I mean, you can't really say it's abused that, because if that was not meant to be abused, why is that setting turned on? You can just turn it off. It's not like in the past where there actually was no block. There was no setting to actually block people from sending those from sending resources and support to outside of tribe and even to inside of tribe. But that's the thing now, and they simply didn't turn it on. So I don't know. If they didn't want people to use it, they should have just not turned it on. So that really just shows that people in Eno games don't seem to know much about how the game works, and I mean, it makes sense that they don't last very long. That's all. Overview of accepted ideas and how many of them have been realized. Of the ideas that have been accepted but not yet realized, is there an internal order in which they should be implemented? If so, what does it look like? What criteria? This is a really good question, because, well, back in the JoJo times, right, there was... Oh, I don't even see that anymore here. Do I have to log in or something? Cool. Please, can we log in? Okay. Yeah, there was this ideas and improvements thing. And there hasn't been any approved topic since Jojo left as community manager. And here you had a really good idea of things that were actually done and changed and implemented. And, well, yeah, these 16 pages of topics that were approved. Yeah, I'm not sure they will ever be coming to the game. Well, they would be more impactful than all the changes they've been doing. And some of them probably not very... Not very hard to do. I mean, I don't know. A lot of these things seem pretty simple. And they could just pick ideas up from here. Things that were already approved in voting by the community. They could definitely take ideas from there. Since Jojo left, it's really been bad when it comes to having player ideas come by. Even the community polls or whatever, it's things they probably already have cooked up or they thought about themselves, not probably the community. And they just tell the community to vote, and community votes yes, because I mean, obviously we want changes. And then they put the actual change in the game to maybe be glorified for a few days. Maybe some people will actually think they they were heard. Who knows? We have a backlog. This is basically just a list of ideas that we want to implement at some point, but haven't gotten to. Fair enough, I guess. Everything we do is prioritized into this list, so we just go from top to bottom. But there are of course lots of variables requested from other departments, technical decisions like updates or safety measures, bug fixes, etc. The cost-benefit ratio is always the deciding factor in what to implement next, if at all. Cost here in the sense of invested time versus benefit for the players, for most players, / the biggest impact on the game. Get the help of the CMs for what to decide if ideas are interesting worldwide or just on the market, but you actually have planned something to involve the players directly. Much more into that decisions process, which is the community polls, definitely. And that only came like in the end of the year. They really do move slow, but at least they definitely did that. Can't say they didn't. And I mean, if that is the case, if they do have that internal list, it's great that they're going through it and definitely improving the game that way. I'm still thinking about how to make the game more suitable for mobile phones. Okay, that's cool. They say that they are. Cool. I mean, I don't really play on mobile. I think it's basically unplayable to play on mobile, especially for speeds as I do. I mean, I've played some rounds on mobile, but it is just really slow. You don't know that you're getting attacked till you already have been cleared. So it's yeah, it's not the best experience for speeds. I wouldn't really recommend anyone playing on phone. Why is there no standardized rules for scripts? I mean, obviously, if you're playing Worlds, it's fine to like check on phone from time to time, but yeah, anyway. Standardized rules. We've been actively thinking about possible future changes, whatever. Yeah. They've actually announced that they will be creating a sort of library for all the scripts. And they will merge the script rules worldwide. I think that's a really great idea, and I mean, that is a really big pain point that the game had, right? I don't know, you're like a random like Polish player or whatever, and you decided that you wanted to go try out the international server, the .NET server. And then you go there and then you get banned because some random script that you use on your server is not legal on the international server. Like, stuff like that makes no real sense to me, and it never did. And especially for people like me who play speeds, right? We're obviously always changing from server to server. Like right now, imagine I wanted to go play a speed. Normally I play in Italy, right? But maybe there's no speed in Italy, and there is no speed in Italy, right? There's no planned rounds. So well, I would have to go to some other server, and I would have to like be aware of the rules of that server, right? Which may be different, and that's just how it is, which is annoying. Especially if you just want to play the game and well, just load in your key press and farm in some N1. But who knows? Maybe the server you're playing in doesn't allow key press, then you're fucked. In reality, I don't know how this will work. I mean, I don't really talk to CMs very frequently anymore. I don't know if they have actually been talking to CMs to like gather the best scripts from each market. I don't know if they're gonna get rid of like older scripts. I don't know if like for example, KeyPress has at least 3 different versions that I can think of. It has the newest version, the KeyPress optimized, it has the French version, and it has the original version that is very old. Will they get rid of the French version and the original version and just stay with the optimized version, for example? I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like this should also involve the community a bit more, because surely, I mean, there are definitely a lot of scripts that people don't use anymore. I mean, I can just come here to the scripts and the approved scripts. Outdated. What the fuck? To the author of the thread and the community manager. Scripts can no longer be approved as private, that's cool. But what does outdated actually mean? Temporarily on hold. I guess they're not approving scripts now because of the change. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I can just come here to the 16th page, right? And well, there's just a lot of things that people don't use anymore. Like, what is this? Posts list all of users who have posted in a current page of a thread of your tribe forum. Like, who cares about this, right? There's so many of these things that people don't care. But they should definitely sort by, like, votes or something of that sort. See, things that have, like, 0 votes. I mean, even then, that might not mean that people don't use it. Like, mass scavenging script has 13 votes, and it's, like, the most used script worldwide. This is not representative of the entire population of the game, obviously. So, in the end, I really don't know how they will handle that, but I hope they pay attention to each of the different markets. And I'm not even sure, I mean, I would like to imagine they do, right? But I'm not even sure the community managers of each server know exactly what scripts people use the most. I mean, I would imagine they do, but who knows? Especially in servers where Temper Monkey was allowed until very recently. And it might still be. I'm not sure. Is Temper Monkey still allowed on the German server? Let's see. Forum. Script. User script. And yeah, this is... Wait. Script. These are user scripts, so they should be Temper Monkey scripts. Yeah, these things match. This is Temper Monkey scripts, unless they have been changed nowadays, which I have not been surprised. Which I would not be surprised. But where's the code? I don't know. Informations about Temper Monkey. Yeah, Temper Monkey is still clearly legal here. I don't know where the codes are. Here? Ah, okay, got it. So this is where the codes are. Yeah, this is all legal in Germany. These are all user scripts, they're all for Temper Monkey. So they basically are playing a whole different game here. None of this is legal on .NET, for example. So I really don't know how they will have it all be put in just one place. They probably have to legalize Temper Monkey, or they have to turn these scripts into non-Temper Monkey scripts, which I also wouldn't mind, but it's also annoying because if you use Temper Monkey, you're used to the scripts just being there when you load into some specific page, which is it's cool. It's practical. I don't know how they'll do that, but good luck. Lots of questions and suggestions regarding minting, ranging from an additional premium feature to suggesting on raising storage capacity while minting, changes to existing items, and additions to the AM. So to summarize in short, any plans to make minting easier? No. Okay, basically no. And that's also an annoying thing. Minting, you basically just have to, well, spam sending resources to a specific village on your world and then be online 24 hours per day to mint. It's not a very fun thing. Yeah. This is interesting. Add new automatic functions to reduce bots. One aspect of fighting bots will be that we look at the functions they offer. Illegal stuff obviously stays illegal. And maybe we find a comfort function that we best can implement in our game so all players benefited from it without hurting the experience of others. Which they have not done at all. At all. It's just really hard to compete with bots in general, especially in Worlds. In speeds are a different thing. You can very easily play speeds without bots. That's why I stopped using bots. That's why I don't use bots anymore, as you see when I play the game rarely. Yeah, it's just really hard to compete because obviously you're playing a game that lasts, well, that goes on for 24 hours a day. I feel like if you really wanted to combat bots and you wanted to make sure people play legally, you would probably have to come up with some sort of server that is only open for a few hours a day, and you would have the players just play in those hours of the day. But that would basically be a speed. That's the thing. I feel like that would be a really cool idea. Like a server that, let's say, is open from like I don't know, 6 p.m. to like 10 p.m. It's like when people are at home and come back from work. I think that could be pretty cool. Like a server that, well, just saves all the stats from day to day. But that's really the only way you can prevent bots, because if you make any kind of world or even speed round that goes over a possible limit of time where people just have to go to sleep after, right? You're gonna have people like me who still want to compete, right? And in plenty of servers, like on my own server on PT and on BR, you cannot co-play in theory. And apparently now it gives it awards you with a permanent account expulsion from the server, so you lose your account if you co-play. For people like me, right? If you can't co-play, well, first of all, there are obviously ways to go around that, and you can co-play through many different methods, like using any desk or team viewer or a Chrome remote connection, or using I don't know, a virtual machine and like logging all of the co-players into that. It's fine. They can't detect that. It's not doable at all. And so I really don't know why they're banning people for it. I don't know. InnoGames moment, I guess. And it's just really hard then, obviously, because you will always have people that are cheating or are co-playing to a certain extent. So if you want to actually compete with them, if you want to farm at the same level as they do, if you want to, well, to compete with them, obviously, you will need to cheat as well. Like, for example, let's go to PT. So let's open Classic 2. This is the most recent Classic. Look. Plundered villages in a day. This account has like double, not double, but close to double the villages plundered in a day of the second place. And this was like 14 days ago. 14 days ago. So how are you gonna tell me or any other player that this account is not cheating, right? Maybe they're not. Who knows? But I would find it very hard to believe that that account is, well, at least not co-playing, right? Because, I mean, for you to have that many attacks, you surely have to be sending attacks the whole day. So how do you even enforce those things? So it really makes no sense to me. I feel like they could add way more automatic functions into the game that would not hurt the experience of others, as they say. I feel like they could easily add like an auto scavenge. I mean, I feel like they should just remove scavenge. I don't get the idea of scavenging. It's basically just an activity checker. Like, there's no real skill to scavenging. It's running the script that does the calculations for you. And then, well, if you're active, you can like just put the troops to scavenge again after when it ends. If not, well, you're once again losing versus people who are active 24 hours per day or have a bot running. So should get rid of scavenging. That's the first thing. Maybe you can increase the production of resources if you really want people to have more resources. If not, well, I just don't know why scavenging was added in the first place. I really don't get it. But you could add things like those. You could add an auto farm bot that still would have to be set up by the player, in the sense of, well, barbs grow walls. If the player doesn't make any change to their auto farm, they're just gonna run into walls and lose troops. People are farming near you, right? If players don't make changes accordingly, they will be pretty inefficient with their units. There are obviously, well, the barbarians increase the number of points they have, so you're gonna have barbs producing more resources and maybe less people around you, obviously, as you're conquering them, so you can increase the number of attacks per village, or you can increase the number of units you're attacking with, stuff like that. And that would still require a constant adaptation from the player that is skill-based, and that is in fact what people do, because apart from those changes, the only thing people do is load up farm god and hold enter on their keyboard. And that's the skill. That's the skill of farming. This is the function that we're not automating, right? Which to me makes no sense at all. And there are some other functions, like for example, why are we not giving account manager to people with one village? Like there are people who just turn on a recruiting bot and a building bot when they have one village and they enter a world because, well, they have no account manager, and you can just give account manager to people, and that's a way to get rid of people cheating. You already have the automatic functions in game. You just don't give them to people because you don't want to, which is I don't get it. Really don't get it. Anyway, is there a way to add two-factor authentication to prevent co-playing? This makes no sense. Two-factor identification. Two-factor identification has nothing to do with co-playing. But okay, sure. Sure. There is no two-factor authentication. There are no plans. Don't think it would be if two-factor authentication would be added to the game, it would be as an account security mechanism and not as a rule enforcement tool. Yeah, that makes sense. To prevent co-playing, that makes no sense. You can just give the code, the authenticator code, to the co-player. So that makes no sense. And again, it obviously doesn't fix the issue of people using TeamViewer and AnyDesk and those programs. Just to play at the time on .NET, whatever, that's kind of... New worlds feel so laggy as there have been less resources assigned to worlds. There's been no change about the resources, whatever. They're improving. I mean, sure. I would assume that that's the case. Will there be a celebration of birthday? Okay, whatever. There's not much there. New events planned. Okay, whatever. I mean, events don't change the gameplay of the game at all. They just, well, make people spend more money in the game. Which, fair enough. Good for InnoGames. Involving building and implementing a new event. I'm not very interested in this. So I'll just skip through those things. New game mechanics can often improve the gaming experience. What new game mechanics is in the development team? Is the development team currently considered for Tribal Wars to innovate the gameplay and keep players more engaged? We are currently working on a new feature which is in the design phase. If activated on a world, players can collect relics by conquering barbarian or player villages. Players can attach relics to a village, which gives a buff in a certain radius depending on the type and quality of the relic. You can merge 3 relics together to create a higher quality relic with a bigger radius and stronger buffs. Please note that this is still in the design phase and things might still change. My pronunciation of things. I'm trying to go through things fast, basically. This is still not a thing, obviously. It sounds cool. It's like a church, sort of a church, but instead of upgrading the church levels, you would like merge relics. Cool. I mean, stuff like this is what I would like to see. Some cool changes. And I mean, even old win conditions like the secrets win condition. I don't know why that was removed, for example. I feel like they more easily remove things from the game than they add things to the game, which is a bit stupid, because if you already have the things in the game, I mean, why not just keep them? Even if they are not very widely used, I think it's just great to have more possible different settings. I mean, I really loved to try things out when I was a speed admin. I HP on NL server. The CM always said to us a long time ago that farm rule is no longer possible on normal worlds due to the new features that were added in the game later. Farm rule is only possible on classics. There are some game settings that should not be used on normal worlds, such as farm limit and packet academy. Yeah, what is farm rule? Because farm rule, it could be like limit, looting limit. It could be farm limit, as they say. I don't get what farm rule is. Again, this is a question that I would have liked, for example, the local CM to wherever this question was found, right? To try to clarify this with the player, because what the fuck is the farm rule? These settings are quite complex. Mechanics and art for novice players to understand, especially when the price for not fully understanding the mechanics is quite high. I mean, novice players just get screwed regardless by people who spend money on the game. I don't think this is a good reason. I would really like to... I would think it would be really funny to see worlds with farm limit. That would be really cool. And Packet Academy was the norm in the past, so I don't know why they wouldn't want worlds to have that. I don't know. I really don't get it. But anyway, the only problem with Packet Academy is the fact that you can only make 3 nobles. I feel like if you make a world with Packet Academy, you should at least make the nobles take 35 loyalty each time, so that you can conquer with the 3 initial nobles that you can make in your first village. I think that probably makes sense. Are there new endgame scenarios planned? There are currently no endgame scenarios planned. No new endgame scenarios. You already have a good number of endgame scenarios. That's sad. Improving and updating the current ones would be a more favorable approach. That's fair, but I would still really enjoy seeing old things like the secrets come back. But anyway. And there are functions like the stronghold, for example, that really does nothing at all. If there was some win condition maybe around that, like trying to conquer the strongholds of other opponents or something like that. I don't know. I feel like something like that would be really cool, and it's not something very hard to come up with, I'm sure. Public API, whatever. Why are most popular play scripts not added into game? That's a good question. We're quite open to the idea of doing this, and also do this from time to time. Whatever they implemented a tagging tool, that's true. Script from FM the Master that was implemented basically. Cool, very cool script, but I mean, I don't know why they don't just add, like, for example, Farm God or Keypress or stuff like that, right? Because that is very widely used. Or the snipe script, for example, the one where you go to the overview or to some village coordinate, and you type in the time of your arrival, your pretended arrival to the village, and you try to coordinate attacks or snipes depending on if the village is yours or of your opponent or something. Like, those things should already have been implemented into the game, especially when you already have the code. I mean, I look at the tagging tool that they implemented, and the script from FM the Master was basically the same without the cool buttons to click on, basically. But there was some I think there was some suggestion also of the .NET server here that had like that whole design that they implemented. So it, again, should not be an extremely hard thing to do, but I mean, I obviously don't know. But I feel like this should be something that is more looked into. So 1 year later, and 37 minutes later, let's see what they've said on this one. Thank you for participating. Whatever. For anyone who missed the live stream, we've played an overview for you. Cool. Yeah, thank you. That's cool. I mean, this is cool. It's cool to have this overview. Let's see. Questions answered in the live stream. Will you plan to have some private servers played with settings players can define? We think it's not feasible for us, and therefore we have no plans to create private servers. The amount of players they would have to pay would be too high. That's okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, as long as people can still like ask for like private speed rounds, for example, which is something that plenty of servers still allow you to do. I feel like that's good enough of a thing. I mean, I don't know why or what more you would like to do with private servers. If you can't just ask for a server to create you and your 5 friends a private speed round, then so be it. What else are you looking for? You wouldn't want to play a month-long world against a friend of yours, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that would be cool, but again, I just don't see the point. Are the devs aware of how heavily the mobile version is used for botting, and what are the solutions? So basically there's no solutions. They're just aware and working on it. Fair enough. I really hope they do, because there are many sort of... I don't really know how they exist, right? But how they work. But I've seen a lot of like standalones of bots that really rely on the mobile version. I don't know why, but I mean, I know why. It's because there's no anti-captcha in the mobile version. That's probably the heaviest reason as to why. I mean, I've seen also, while I was in the support, I've seen someone using something of this sort, and these are things that are like very easily detectable if you go through the logs of the players, but the average moderator doesn't go through the logs of the players. They just rely on the anti-cheat. So yeah, it's not exactly something impossible to detect. I myself have detected a few cases of this, of people using the mobile version for botting. Yeah, they definitely want to just add something into the anti-cheat to prevent it. I don't know how they're gonna do that because their anti-cheat is currently very focused on the anti-captcha, the bot protection thing. I mean, I've not been playing much recently, but I was playing recently with some friends in an account in a world, and we got banned twice. A 12-hour ban, by the way, which is something incredible. Like, if you're cheating, you should not be banned for 12 hours, you should be banned for way more. But it was a 12-hour ban both times, and they are bans automatically issued by the server. And those bans came, I'm pretty sure, because we simply were holding the enter button while farming with Farm God, and then the anti-captcha comes in, and if you basically don't automatically click on it and solve it, they will basically just assume you're botting, or at least that's probably what the anti-captcha does, and it just bans you. And yeah, this is just a terrible detection system because, I mean, I'm speaking for myself here, but I mean, I don't know if I was the cause of these bans or something. I could have been, I don't know. But, I mean, I obviously have two monitors. If I'm farming on Farm God and just holding enter, a lot of the times I have that on one monitor, and on the other monitor I'm, for example, watching YouTube or something of that sort. So I'm not looking at the attacks because I'm not doing anything new. I'm just, well, it's repeated actions. I'm holding a button. It's not something very, I don't know, it doesn't require much of my attention. But then they basically make it so you have to permanently be looking at it, or else you'll get banned, it seems. So it's just a really weird thing, and again, really brings me back to the talk I've had about adding, for example, an automatic farm bot into the game. Anyway, why is there no two-factor authentication or other solutions to prevent multi-accounting? Again, multi-accounting has nothing to do with two-factor authentication. I really don't get these links. Two-factor authentication is logging into your account and the login requesting you to put in some other code that goes to you through your email, or that goes to you through some authenticator app that you may have on your phone or on some other device or something of that sort. That's all that does. Multi-accounting has nothing to do with two-factor authentication. You can have 35,000 accounts. If all of them have a two-factor authentication, you can still use all of them. That's not the point. I don't get it. We have looked into this topic in the past, and we are worried it will keep many players from registering because they would not want to share their phone numbers with us. However, the issue with multi-accounting is still quite prominent, and therefore we are constantly looking into other solutions. What does this have to do with the phone numbers? Are they? I mean, there are plenty of ways for you to handle two-factor authentication, other than just phone numbers. I don't think there's many services that actually rely on phone numbers for. Or are they just talking about two-factor authentication as in you sort of verifying yourself? And the way to do that would be like giving your phone number. I guess that probably is what they're talking about then, because for me two-factor authentication has always been the way to protect your account. Yeah, for account security. I really hope they do implement that, because it's pretty much standard practice nowadays. Everything has two-factor authentication, and it should, because, well, if someone manages to crack your password, well, they will not necessarily have access to your phone to get your code. So well, yeah, so that's something very important. Are there plans to revise the flag system, lock and loot flag are useless in their current form, and the coin flag is a big factor. Why people bother with embossing at all? Don't really know what they mean by embossing here, but yeah, there are useless flags, there are flags that are OP. It is known that not all flags are liked equally, but not all of them necessarily have to be the same. Some may be stronger or sometimes weaker. There are no concrete change plans for this yet. Okay, so basically, it's fine that one is like very OP and the others are useless. Okay, cool. Should also consider that rebalancing would not be trivial either, as players that leveled up their flags over a long period of time strategically. Rebalancing would change the flag values, and this could ruin extensive investments in certain flags for players. Definitely. But there's no real reason as to why you couldn't take out these luck and loot flags and add something probably more useful. Or, for example, maybe if you just want to get rid of them completely, you could sort of like give some joker flag or something of that sort, like some currency that can be turned into some other flag of players' choices. That would also make it easier for people to max out their minting flags, and would make it way more playable for new players to eventually have the same access to those things that are so important nowadays to keep minting. I don't know. I feel like there are things that could be done, but still, I don't play Worlds, so yeah. Are there plans to make the world settings faster again, i.e. higher world speeds and mine speed? That's interesting. We try to change up world settings in such a way to keep it balanced throughout the year. We know we have players who have lots of time and love fast world speeds, while other players may have less time and appreciate a slower world. This is why it's important to keep a balance throughout. That being said, you can be sure we will also have faster worlds against this year. Okay, I mean, that's cool. I'm glad. I hope they keep settings varied over time. But I'm not sure they exactly do that. This is a 1.6. This is a 1.25. I just opened PT because it's my server. But it's always dominance, for example. Basically all the worlds are dominance. This one is not. This one is not. Well, that's an improvement then, because basically everything was dominance before. And I feel like, again, dominance. And why is it 90% dominance? Like, look at the tribes. There are 3 tribes under the same family. And the world has 90% dominance. Damn. That's cool. That's gonna be fun for sure. The dominance is just not extremely ideal for situations like those. I feel like even if you are in a family tribe or whatever, you can more easily coordinate who wins and who doesn't with some other winning format probably. But there should also be more incentives for people to not play in extensive tribe families, because, well, the reward for winning is so little that people don't care if they're in the tribe or not. They just want to play the game and have fun. If the rewards for winning worlds were actually significant, maybe give people some nice flags even, who knows, I don't know. Or more premium, because I mean the amount of premium people invest into the game compared to maybe an increase on what could be given to players that win a world is not significant at all. People would still spend money in the game, so I don't know why that is not done. Have you considered making barbarian villages more active targets that would attack other players or play independently? Is it possible to have smarter barbarians, for example? Ones that attack players upgrade their ability faster and are managed by an AI. No, Tribal Wars is a player versus player game. Barbarian villagers have the clear task of being places for easy farming and expansion. They're not meant to replace players, definitely not with AI either. I couldn't agree more with this one. Very glad that they're not touching that. Plan to add new Unix buildings or some new bigger features. That's interesting. We have a bigger feature planned to be released soon, which will have an impact on how players will play the game. More information about this new feature will be released soon. Okay, that's cool. Looking forward to that. And also looking forward to how that will affect speeds, if I even still care about the game then. We're always looking into interesting and intriguing new ideas, so nothing is off the table, but we will also not change the game completely. Feel free to submit ideas as always, that's cool. But, I mean, they could also have, like, said what it is. Or maybe it is just the thing that they talked about in the last year. Who knows? Maybe it is. Have you considered adding some mini random events that would affect the players, such as weather or terrain changes? For example, storms that would slow your troops for a set amount of time, drought that would slow down the production, and similar. That's kind of cool. And then events that cause a carefully constructed attack strategy to fail are rather frustrating. That's true. If are all such effects as weather, should only be for the world, for the whole world, and known in advance. That's true. Then the players can incorporate this into their strategies. It could be some kind of event or something similar. So basically, this is a good idea for the future. Cool. New world with similar settings to 119. Okay, cool. I mean, I don't know what 119 is. I don't care. Actually, wait. I really wonder if these are just like questions from this server. Maybe if I go to other servers, unless I really don't know. Let me see. No, these are the same. Okay. No, it's the same everywhere. Okay. Because this one is referencing a world on .net and I'm on .net. But no, other servers also mentioned this. How does a player evolve so quickly? What is the tip and secret to growing in the game? They're asking the developers for tutorials. That's crazy. Damn. Oh yes, the Tribal Wars tutorial playlist on YouTube. That guy that probably has never even won a world. I'm sure that's a great tutorial. Is it possible to get non-PP world? We generally release one non-PP world per market period. That's cool. I was not aware that there was some sort of a schedule to that. That's cool. How many developers, person hours are still being invested in Tribal Wars? That's a good question. We're roughly 10 people, including game design, engineers, QA, etc. This is a really good size for a game this age, as we get things done fast without much overhead. Everyone in the team is super dedicated and experienced. Then why the fuck do we barely get any updates if it's 10 people? What's the... I don't get it. I really don't get it. Damn. It's sad. QA is like quality assessment, I would imagine. Yeah, okay. What's the status of the features changes from the community poll in game? We will be working on the next features from the community poll after finalizing a great new feature of which you will hear more soon. We okay. How soon is this and what feature is this? We will do around 4 polls per year and we aim to integrate the wishes within a few weeks. That's cool. I mean, they will obviously have the features already planned, probably, or like at a good stage, fairly easy to implement after, which is cool. But they're not. I mean, nowadays there's barely any suggestions anywhere on the forums, I feel like. Anyway, that's a good question. Are there plans to improve communication between developers, server admins, and community moderated support? Examples that come to mind are the miscommunication regarding the time of the Christmas truce and world settings that go against the wishes of, and communication with the community here in the forum. Interesting. Lots of improvements have already been made. We had multiple changes in-house. I wonder what that means. Multiple changes in-house. I mean, what changed? Tell me. So I really... I don't know. I would like to know, because, well, would be cool. Regarding the Christmas peace times, we ensure that for 2025 all peace times will be updated accordingly. Yeah, I think some servers have like very long peace times, other servers don't have long peace times at all. And it's also hard because you obviously have like the Turkish server and the Arabic server that celebrate other things other than Christmas, and they like for example in the Turkish server, when there was a big earthquake in Gaziantep, I think 2 years ago, in the Gaziantep region, I think they also had like a 2 or 3 day period of like no attacks, and these things make a lot of sense. And so I really don't get the time of the Christmas thing. I'm not sure. Maybe there were like disagreements between the community and the players, or even maybe the developers and the people who actually communicate those things, the community managers and stuff. So I don't know. Regarding world settings, we cannot always simply take over the wishes of a few players, but also need to check what settings have been working for the majority of players. As such, we may not always please all types of player profiles. How do they assess I'm really confused. Because, yeah, we cannot simply always take over the wishes of a few players, sure. But how do you check what settings have been working for the majority of players? Because if you look at PT, or I'm assuming it's similar in most servers, right? But if you look at PT, for example, if you have a V2 world, normally the number of people playing is very, very superior to V1 worlds. I'm not sure if this is the same everywhere, by the way. It might not be. But at least it is on PT. And if that was the case, well, you'd assume all the rounds on all the worlds on PT to be V1, right? But they're not. So I don't know. To be V2, sorry. So I really don't know. How do they check what settings have been working for all the majority of players? These are questions that would be really interesting to ask these people that I don't know who they are. I don't know if it's the devs who are answering this. I don't know if it's Ricardo or someone else in their team. I don't know. But I would really like to have a conversation with someone in charge of these things. Would be cool. Let's see. Also, our polling system really shows that we are very much invested in listening to the wishes of our community. Oh, that's actually funny. No, because, like, what does the polling system do? The polling system. Let's see. Announcements. Actually, wait. Is like polling. Community poll. Okay, so what's the questions? Can I get the questions? I don't know. If I could see the questions, I would show you more clearly. But the reality is these changes that they push through to the polls, they're not extremely large changes, and they are very easy for everyone to just say, oh yeah, sounds cool. And they just vote yes. So I'm not sure how much listening to the players that actually is. Because is the support team coming here to the net server and seeing the approved suggestions and the suggestions that have been kept on hold since Georgia left? Is the team coming here to the topics on PT or in some other server or whatever that they may say is in analysis, right? But in reality, who knows? No one actually knows if anything is being done about it. Probably not. But there's a ton of really cool ideas that that could be implemented. This support is a clown fest. I won't look on PT anymore. Anyway, they type too much and say basically nothing. There's a lot of ideas that could easily be implemented, and that would actually reflect that you're listening to the community more than just putting polls in game and sort of, I don't know, looking for validation that your ideas are good, maybe, or that, I don't know, what you've considered as a relevant change is relevant, because there will always be players want things to like change. I don't know. Anyway, definitely glad the polling system exists. I'm not against it. I just don't think that it really reflects players' interests that much, because no one will really vote no when things are overall good. Like any change is good, basically. Especially when it's just like improvements, little improvements. Anyway, would it be possible to put more work into the quest reward system? Wrong quests on some worlds that not match the settings, travel quests that are impossible in the first week, free premium features that, like the farm assistant, that are not activated within the world settings, that have been sitting in the inventory ever since. Can we get a world ID where this occurs? Please contact our support with more information. Wow. I mean, this makes sense. There can be worlds without farm assistant. Stuff of that sort. I can definitely see this happening. I feel like they just assume every world has all the settings that are included in the quest system, but maybe some didn't. What was the aim behind combining the scripts? And when will it be complete? I've been waiting for the activation since October or so. Okay. This is definitely not an English-speaking person, whatever. It's fine. The aim is to create the same pool of scripts for all markets and avoid scripts being hosted by third parties where we won't have any control. It's a good idea. Really good idea. As I've said, in the future all scripts will be hosted directly by us, and we'll include a new UI that will help players utilize scripts more easily. That's cool. We're currently in the process of reviewing all existing scripts on all the markets. There are hundreds of scripts to scan through, which is a time-consuming process. Once this is all completed, we'll open up a new way of submitting new or updated scripts, allowing script creators to test their scripts in a dedicated environment. That's cool. That's cool. That is really cool. It really is. When will the change that was made with the updates troops that broke the scripts in the mobile version app be fixed up with Tron? They say it's already fixed. Some more things for mobile app. The app has more and more problems sending attacks. If this means that if I send an attack at 70000, it's sent at 70049. That's okay. Interesting. Flag boost minting. Will there be any work done to maybe simplify it or outright remove it? I'm not sure I can comment much on this one because it's worlds. I'm not. Yeah, this is not very much my area of expertise. It's caused by the flag that reduces the coin costs for minting in combination with the flag doubler. It's now kind of a mandatory strategy to mint. Yeah, I was talking about this. Alright. Everyone is practically forced to do this because there is no more efficient alternative. That alone is a bad strategy. It's bad for a strategy game. I agree. I mean, they added flags and ton of items. It's also an extremely annoying and time-consuming way to play. Yes. On top of that, it also leads to increased bot usage. Of course, yeah, and they're not adding anything to make it easier. We are already thinking about how to solve that issue. We should actually change or remove the flag as it is the core problem. Fair enough. But this could annoy the players who have invested a lot in this flag. That's also true. Another option would be... Oh, but that could be changed by the like Joker flag or whatever, as I mentioned. Whatever. That would not be a terrible idea. Another option would be not to allow the flag doubler to be used with the minting flag. That could mitigate the issue. That would decrease the amount of money you get. I'm sure. Maybe we can ask you about your preferred solution in a community poll. That seems more like the usage of a community poll. That is good. That's good. That's more like it. That is more like it. That is more like it. That one I like. With how certain worlds have been released to increase the size of worlds, will there just be something done to our relocation map rims work? Because every world ends up with these big clustered rims that do not look the same density of villages as the core or much later rim. Basically, this is regarding the inner value, I believe. Basically, villages appear closer when the inner value is full. They kind of just are put around the edges of the map, and they are a bit closer sometimes. Not sure I would find a world to show what this means in practice. Maybe IT doesn't fill the inner value. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could even find something of this sort. Okay, yeah, this is a good example. You see, there's this weird discrepancy between this region that has a ton of villages. This region has like nothing, and in the middle it's like fine, with some like sparse points, whatever. But that's just the random, and probably like the Sea of Barbarians thing. people using invite players feature to make barbs near them and stuff like that, which is probably still a thing nowadays, I would imagine. I don't know. I talked about that in previous videos. Recently made changes to address the relocation and map distribution issues you mentioned. These updates aim to optimize world layouts to prevent the formation of hyperclusters like the ones you mentioned by adjusting how villages are distributed across the map or experience the more balanced and consistent. Okay, I mean that's cool, but they're saying what do they say? We've recently made changes. I mean, if I come to the announcements and the updates, I don't see any of this anywhere. There's no. Where is recently? Did they put this anywhere? See, that's the thing. I feel like they also could give themselves more credit for the changes they're making if they communicated better what they're actually changing. Add some images, add some more text to show what you're talking about. I don't know. I feel like that would also just give players a really good idea of what you're doing, and would probably make players be more interested in what changes you're making than the random community polls, I would imagine. Will there ever be more discussion about shutting down other servers and merging markets? That's a good question. We are monitoring the servers and will certainly consider merging other markets into the international one if the player base becomes too small. See, I just don't know if that is a good idea, because in my view, if you merge servers to international or to whatever it may be, you're kind of just killing the small community that existed there before. They merged the Swedish, Danish, Thai, Norwegian, Croat, and the Slovenian servers all into .NET, right? The biggest one was the Swedish server. The Swedish server had more players than probably UK has today in Worlds. Yeah, UK has one World active. One. Because it's probably so uncompetitive that there's just like one or two tribes, they fight it out and one tribe wins. So, the Swedish server was more competitive than this, and it was put into the .NET server. It was one of their worst decisions ever, because it basically just killed the Swedish community. Now, especially Swedish people that don't speak English, which to be fair, it's probably something hard to find, but I imagine it's not something impossible. Those people will probably have a hard time like finding a tribe or something, and then they will have like no incentive to play the game. And if you just merge servers onto the .NET server, like sure, you're putting players on a server with way more people, definitely. I mean, how many people are onto .NET server? Last World, 6k, 6.5k. Damn, the .NET server is small, to be fair. I mean, .NET server is a mixture of everything, so it makes sense. But anyway, by putting everyone in here, you're kind of just losing these smaller player bases. I really don't know, because it's a bit of a trade-off, right? These players may want something more challenging, but that's also what, for example, the annual classic that was hosted on .NET was meant to do, right? To have some international competition between different servers, and I feel like that was a good way to fill that void of sort of international competition between different servers. And if you do that, you don't really need too much servers. I don't know. Like, what really small servers are there today? Fixes, flexes, but I don't know how to type this. It's the Greek server that I'm trying to reach. The Greek server, I think, is probably the smallest right now. Greek. I'm Greek. Okay. I mean, to be fair, has 1.3k players on the latest World. So fair enough. Maybe it's even the Italian server. Who knows? Holy shit. Everyone talking about speeds. Everyone wants speeds to come back. Cool. Wait, does that mean there's someone sharing the... The achievement? Oh no, they didn't make any rounds yet. Anyway. Um, yeah, I guess everyone came to the forum to say yes to speedruns and no one else. No one ever uses the forum again. Anyway, there are really small servers, but if you just merge them to the .NET server, they would basically just die. Look, the Arabic server, how many people does it have? 700! This is probably the smallest server then. Newest world, 700 people. But are you gonna merge the Arabic server with the .NET server? You're gonna merge this beautiful character here. That's really cool, by the way. This is the only server that has this character instead of the paladin. You're gonna merge this thing to the .NET server and make all these people sort of like lose their tribal wars identity, their forums, their all those things. I mean, I just don't get it. Not a good idea, is all. Because of the flag farming changes you have made, now it is impossible for newer accounts to catch up to many old accounts that have benefited from massive flag farms. Probably true. The flags are specifically designed to reward players who have been playing Tribal Wars for a long time on many worlds. Of course, this means that new players can't catch up easily. Obviously, they can't also with these changes. I mean, it's what he said. We have implemented that flags can no longer be farmed. We know. On the one hand, players farm dozens of flags per day with nobles, often using bots. Probably, yeah. On the other hand, worlds were not finished, even though they were basically won just to farm flags. Yeah, also true. All these behaviors are not good for the game, I agree. Since flag farming with nobles was the main issue, we even asked you in the last community poll if we should allow the acquisition of other flags again, but you voted against it. The acquisition of other flags again. I don't get it. I don't know the poll, so I don't know. Otherwise, the period of the game during which the flags can no longer be farmed is adjustable. It is currently 6 months, but this could also be extended, but of course, yeah, it's just hard, because you have a lot of people that benefited from that in the past, and they can just remove those flags from the accounts. And I definitely get that it's hard to then catch up. Anyway, you don't advertise this game as much on social media as far as I know. Have you considered it? I think you could have some cool reels with people top player who know how to play Tribal Wars, explaining how they play, how they prepare attacks, and it could give a more influx of new players, or even simply paying for Instagram or TikTok ads to advertise the game. We have carefully increased our marketing activities over the last year and are certainly open to collaborations and new ways to show our game to players. You know what? If you're interested, just contact your local CM and we can work something out. I mean, well, I am probably one of the most... I mean, I don't know. If you look for Tribal Wars, what comes up? Like in YouTube. Sorry. That's not meant to be here. Tribal Wars. Okay, some Brazilian channel. How to defend attacks in an OP. How to play an event. Something like that. Cool. Brazil focused channel. And that's basically all there is now. Adept was lost. Don't know who this guy is, but... Okay, so he basically made a video about scripts, made a few videos and then disappeared. Typical. Okay. Basically, there's a few BR channels, and there's me as well. Well, I was certainly never contacted by them to actually help them advertise anything. I would say I'm a pretty decent player. This has a good amount of views. Probably the most amount of views any video has. Apart from these official tutorials, official videos, whatever. Yeah, a lot of videos from me, for example. And well, it's not like they've been reaching out to me or something, trying to help me help them market to make to think about how to market the game better with me or something of that sort. I don't know, but I would be very down. But even then, they say they have increased the marketing activities or whatever. Has anyone who's watching the video, and that's, I mean, is anyone still watching the video? I don't know. Has anyone who is still here ever seen any ads for Tribal Wars or something of that sort? I've seen things from Forge of Empires. I have. I know Winnow Games is capable. But I'm not sure. I don't think... I mean, I've never seen anything from Tribal Wars but I also use ad blockers everywhere. Um, maybe people actually have seen ads of tribal wars. I don't know. Is there any chance we can get weapon paladins again? The former paladin equipment still triggers nostalgic feelings, we know, but actually many players didn't really like it back then. That's why we removed it 6 years ago as a part of a community request. Instead, we introduced the improved paladin skill system, which solved problems we had with the former approach. So there currently are no plans to bring back the former system. If there is a big wish for it, we can check to include it in a poll in the future to see how the community feels about it as a whole. People would vote yes. That's the answer. Definitely. The system was not good. The book system is not much better, I don't think. The old system was really cool in the sense of well, just ease of use, right? It was really easy to use. But the reality is it was completely unbalanced because I mean, to be fair, it was kind of cool because it made catapults become a defensive option, and that was really cool. But now, yeah, obviously no one uses catapults for defending anymore. Yeah. But again, once again, and this is just me being me, right? I feel like instead of just deleting it, yeeting it out of the game, removing it completely, which it is not, by the way, it's still possible to use it, or it was. Maybe they've removed it, but I'm pretty sure there was some way for that CMs found to actually like sort of hack the system and add paladin with items, with weapons. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they should just have it in and have it as a setting that people can use. Maybe for worlds it doesn't make much sense. Maybe, but for example, for speeds. For worlds, it doesn't make much sense because people have thousands of villages, hundreds of villages, and it's just one paladin. Doesn't make much sense. Sure. But for speeds, 3-hour speeds, where people are effectively playing with fewer villages, right? Could be cool. Could be cool because I mean it's something else for people to use. So why not? Are there any plans to rebalance the core mechanics of attacks per second sent to specifically barbarians, as today's meta forces large numbers of plunders per day, increasing the cap from 5? Could see less active accounts. Better compete in one of the few free-to-play areas remaining. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the cap is the problem. I just don't think the cap is the problem. Because, well, first of all, if you increase the cap from 5, speed gets completely fucked. That's the way to put it. It completely fucks speed because you're just gonna have a bunch of people botting in speed with more than 5 attacks per second. So, yeah, and I mean, I talk about speed because that's what I know, right? But more than 5 attacks per second is not something you can achieve by clicking, and there is currently no way for you to in-game use things like Farm God. It would be through those things that you would actually be allowed to send more than 5 attacks per second, and there's simply no way for people to really send more than that. So yeah, I don't think this is a good idea. But let's see what they say. We understand that the current status quo might present challenges for smaller or less active accounts at the moment. Rebalancing this aspect wasn't on our immediate radar, as it's a complex issue that requires detailed research and consideration. However, it's certainly something we can... Okay, cool. In preparation for this Q&A, we haven't been looking into this, but it will be something we really want to spend time looking into. We would also need to gauge how important it is for the rest of the community with a poll. I think people would vote no, because it's... I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be very 50-50. It's probably not something very important. That's fair. My question is the new option about Worlds 146 yen. I don't know what this is about. Let's see. We got new option of MS fluctuating, more or less 30 MS. That sounds like a good idea. We normally played this game with common skills like anti or anti-sniping or cancel sniping or timing attack. Okay, yeah. But I had never seen clear till yet from any... Clear till yet. Any other players, how to attack other players, or this is very weirdly written. So I want to hear from you how to attack or defend effectively, or tactics with these new settings. Okay, I see. What this is they basically want to get rid of people planning attacks. They attack planners with bots. So they're adding this sort of function. I was not aware of this, but that's cool. See, these are things that they should mention worldwide, or that it is becoming a setting, or that they're testing it in the updates, because this is not something I knew about, and this is cool. At least the idea behind it is cool. But yeah, this change could be problematic in the sense of they say the change is not really new, as it has been in the game for about a year, but it can be configured for each world. Some worlds have it, others not. Okay, I think I know what this setting is then. It's the delay, but it was not for milliseconds before. I think it was for seconds. I'm not sure. Whatever. You have implemented this as bot protection. Previously, bots planned attack series to the millisecond, which made any defense completely impossible. Yeah, that's true. The attack planner for a village also sets a MS gap. Okay, we are talking about 30 MS here for a fair game in which people should still be able to react tactically. Such minimal time deviation should not be the central tactical aspect, in our opinion. I mean, okay. I mean, this sounds like a cool thing to have, especially if you're on a server like PT or BR or something of that sort, where people just cheat blatantly. More defensive dynamics were introduced to help players in their defense. Why don't you reduce the time it takes to recruit defensive units, defensive troops? In general, there needs to be a good balance between attack and defense. The defense in PvP games should never be too strong, otherwise it can really lead to situations in which the game gets stuck. It's almost impossible to defeat and optimize defense. So there are no plans currently to speed up the recruiting of defensive units. And I agree, there should not be any plan for this. I think offensive units getting recruited faster is just better for the game as well. It's more healthy. I mean, to defend attacks, you just have to AFK and make defensive units. To attack, you actually have to plan your attacks thoroughly. You actually have to sometimes think about which units may be better for different scenarios. Like, for example, if your opponent is using more spears than swords, you might build more axe than light cav in your full, stuff like that. And that's things that mostly the attacking player has to adapt to rather than the defensive player. So yeah, I think attacking is more skilled. I agree with that comment here. Can you have a better cheat detection? Oh, from chat during live stream, okay. Better cheat detection. Cheating is almost mandatory on the CC server. Yeah, that's true. And no good way to punish it. That's true. 160 times villages, 60,000 times villages found and more. Okay, yeah, that's what I've shown you as well on PT. I also reported game bug multiple times and it was not addressed by support. As a Java developer, can I report a bug to a developer that would better understand the issue? I reported this bug twice, about 1.5 years ago, and it still is there. Attack sending important game mechanic. We constantly work behind the scenes on better anti-cheating systems, as well as working on providing better tools to our support teams. However, if you have any specific bugs, please report them again via the support so we can look into it further. I mean, he says he already did and nothing has happened, so yeah, it's just really cool to see that there's someone in the live saying, okay, I have this issue, I've talked about it, nothing has been done, and they're like, okay, just do it again. Maybe you'll be lucky this time, maybe. Will you stop awarding OD for killing your own troops? Make it so you only get OD from killing other players' troops. To stop the big pay-to-win players from suiciding at themselves, please? Is that pay-to-win, I guess? If this exploit is used on a larger scale, we should indeed do something about it. Maybe we can bring this up in a community poll. Sure, I mean, I don't think that's a big issue. I think that maybe you can consider, for example, having an on or off button for attacking your own villages and getting OD based on that. For example, bash rounds in speeds. I'm very speed focused, I know, and this is not for the majority of the players, but even for worlds, I mean, you could potentially think about having a new win condition based on opponents defeated. Who knows? And that would serve the same purpose. And in a scenario like that, it would be relevant for you to not be able to get those points by killing yourself. So yeah, I feel like that could be interesting. But also, by the way, if that was a winning condition, you would also like to reward people that are attacking and not just defending. So if someone is building off and actually playing No, but it's hard. I don't know. I feel like that would be hard to balance, but it would be something interesting maybe. I don't know. I was thinking that it could still be skilled to a certain extent to kill your own units because you like sprint better than your opponents. But we're talking about a pay-to-win game where people are conquering barbs and abusing premium points on them to grow them up. So maybe not so competitive as I was thinking. Maybe for classics or something, but not for actual worlds. Can we get the political map back? I've never really used it. Originally, we wanted to remove the map since we saw very little use of the feature. However, we've seen negative feedback in several markets about removing the political map, so we'll also bring this topic in one of the community posts to see general support for bringing it back. Yeah, I don't think people used the political map generally. Maybe, I mean, clearly some people did. I don't remember what it does, honestly. I really don't. So, yeah. And in speeds, I know that it was a policy to always have it off. It probably just, I don't know, it probably just wastes some resources in the server, just overloads the server even more. That's not something very useful. What's about more World Championship? I don't know what that means. We have discussed bringing the World Championship back, and we can reveal that it will happen again in the future. More information will follow. We'll see what they mean by World Championship. Will it be like the classics that JoJo was doing? Maybe. If that's the case, I think it definitely is a positive thing. But we'll see how they bring it to life, and yeah, I think that's cool. Anyway, that's all. We're through this. I think there were interesting questions in here. But there's things, I'm really confused, because there's things, for example, on Spanish server, I saw, that that there was a, in the original topic of the Q&A, when they were looking for questions, Q&A. Fuck. Q&A. No. Weird. Because in the in the Spanish server, there was also a discussion regarding the VIP level, which is something that exists inside of the supporter tools that basically allows the community manager or the moderation to see if someone is like a big spender, basically. And there was a response from the community manager. What is this? What the fuck? Okay, someone against a moderator, whatever. Here. This. Look. You already have the answers of what the... Oh, okay, this is an extra answer. Okay, whatever. Okay, no, never mind then. Okay, then we're through it all. We're truly through all of the questions that they've answered. And some things were interesting. Other things were probably just things that they could have just had the community managers answer because they're not very hard things to answer. And they are always hinting at like, we're gonna do this soon, we're gonna announce this soon or whatever. Why can't they just, I don't know, give more hints? I feel like that is something that would keep the community more engaged. Anyway, you've heard me yap for 1 hour and a half. If you have, I assume most have not. But yeah, I might come back from time to time, who knows, to review what's going on. And again, I would be super down to have a conversation with someone in charge of the game. Talk about things like these, talk about how we can improve the game. Maybe even me making some presentation about how speed rounds could actually be the future of the game. Which I've talked about many times here in the channel. Because one thing is, expecting people to commit to a world that lasts months, if not years, and people are expected to play 24 hours per day, basically. And the other thing is playing some 3-hour rounds sometimes. They are very distinct things. And nowadays, if you look at the games people play, the CODs, the Fortnites, the League of Legends, all those things is what people play nowadays. And this game does not match those games at all, but speeds does to a certain extent. So I feel like people who play those games and like strategy games would very, very easily get into Tribal Wars, and that would be through speed and not through worlds. And that's why I like it so much. But there's no incentive for people to ever try speed out, which, in my opinion, is an error. And I would really like to have a conversation about that to people who can make changes in the game. And yeah, just about things in general as well. I could come up with questions of my own. Anyway, feel like it would be cool. And I'm obviously down to help in potentially marketing of the game. I don't know. I feel like speeds could be way better to market the game as well, because how are you gonna market 500 attacks arriving at 5 a.m. At like 8 a.m. when the night protection ends in some account? Like, that's not the most visually appealing. But like playing a 1v1 in a speed round is something different, something more strategic, and that you can actually show the thought process behind. Those things is what really makes the game strategic. It's not sending 1,000 attacks arriving at 8 a.m. At least in my opinion. That's how I view it. Anyway, GG guys. That's it for me for today. Do comment something down there in the comments. I will leave the Discord servers in the description. First one will be the Tribal Wars Discord server, the Speeds server. Then second I'll put my own Discord server where I am just focused on doing my own thing, not related to Tribal Wars. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the comments you guys may have on these Q&A answers, this hour and a half long session. And I hope you've enjoyed. See you guys.